Hi and welcome to the Roost. Today I would like to show you how to make this Bloom with Hope card that I used for a Blendabilities swap for the Stampin' Up! Convention. I started with the Bloom with Hope stamp set, which is a hostess set and has it's 2 boxes for the wooden set full of just beautiful flower images. So to begin with, I took a white piece of cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches because I was going to mat this. And I actually used my Stamp-A-Majig to place the images. So I started with my largest image. So I started with that one. And I am using the Memento Tuxedo black ink. And then I actually used my Stamp-A-Majig, so I stamped the other images that I'm going to be using on the corners of the Stamp-A-Majig with my same Memento ink. So then I could place my flowers where I wanted them. If they overlapped a bit on some of them, I took just a tiny piece of, I'll just demonstrate. So I would just put this here if I decided I wanted my leaves to go over here. And then you just simply take your Stamp-A-Majig and then remove this and go ahead and stamp. And then you'll see that it goes behind your flower rather than on top of it. To color the leaves, I'm using the light Old Olive and the medium Old Olive. And I'm going to start with the light olive and just give them all a quick cover with that. Now, I'm not real careful, other than trying to stay on the lines. I guess I kind of like a loose look to it. Then I go back and I take the medium olive and I'll just kind of follow the pattern where the dark lines are in the stamp, as far as where I want my shadows. And then edges where the one leaf overlaps another, where there would be a shadow. If you want, you can leave some spots a little bit white where you think there would be a highlight. And then this is kind of personal preference. You can either go back again with the light olive if you want to blend what you've done, or if you like to kind of leave a little bit more of a distinction between the light and dark, you can just go ahead and leave it the way you have it. For the branches, I like to start with the dark Daffodil Delight marker, and I use the more pointed tip, not like a brush. I do the little, I'm not sure if they're supposed to be berries or what they are on these branches, and then I just do the whole branch in the dark olive. Then I'll go back again with the pointy end of the marker with my olive, and again I'll kind of use the spots where there's lines or like the crook of the branch here. I'll follow the edge and kind of work it in until I get to the color that I like. I don't go back and blend. That's it for our leaves. I just go ahead and do all of those the same way. Next we're going to start with the large flower, and biggest flower I've actually started with the light Razzleberry, and I use the medium for shading. So I go ahead and I just fill in all of these petals. And again, if you want to leave some white spots, Like I'm thinking this would be at like a light place. This is turned over, so I'm thinking it's going to be lighter. You can leave some of those actually white if you want when you're at this point. But you can see that I really don't make this a painstaking proposition. And I'll go back with my dark, I'm sorry, it's the medium, my darker color, but the medium. And I kind of start in the middle and run again on the lines from the stamps. I'm definitely not an expert artist, so I just follow the lines that the stamp has given me. And I kind of go from the center. I like to make it a little bit darker at the center of the flower. So anywhere where it looks like there'd be a shadow, you can add some. Or like where a petal looks like it's underneath another petal. So then at this point you have to decide if you want to blend again. And I really don't want to lose a lot of my darkness that I've got in here, but I think I maybe have a little bit too much white. Now if you do decide to use 3 colors when you shade, and I'll show you that on another one, then I would go back with my light and do a little bit more blending in here. But when I'm only using 2 colors, I let the darker color actually kind of do the blending for me. So then I will go back and do the center of this. And I'm just going to go ahead and I think I got I just go back with the medium and kind of squiggle it, like make squiggles. So I have some darker and some lighter places. Now for the smaller flower on the side, start with the medium Razzleberry. And I'm going to leave my light for my last step on coloring the petals. So again, I'm just going to fill these in. You know, if there's spots again that you think should be like right here, maybe this is, you know, the sun's really hitting it and it's light, you can leave those lighter. So then I'm going to go back with my darkest rich Razzleberry and go ahead and follow those lines. Like I said, where it looks like a petal is underneath another one, make them a little darker. Then I'll go back with the very lightest Razzleberry, and I want those highlighted spots to just be really light, so I'm careful not to pick up any of my dark color. Do a little blending on the dark in the tips, but don't, if you want it to be really light, make sure you aren't blending when you're covering your light spots. Color my center, and then I'm going to find from the skin tones, this is actually the bronze marker, and I'll take my pointed end, and I'm just going to kind of go around the edges, kind of squiggle it a little bit. And then I'm going to go back with my Daffodil Delight, but not touch the very center. You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can color these. These markers are even great if you just simply want to use them to color without doing any of the fancy blending. They pour out so smoothly. It's almost like a paintbrush. And then for the little bud, because buds tend to be darker, I am just going to color that in just strictly with the darkest rich Razzleberry and leave it at that. Now for the white flower that I have here, if I just leave it white, it's going to look a little bit odd, I think. So what I've done is I've taken the Ivory from the skin tone set, and I'll just take the brush tip, and again I'm just going to follow the dark lines, you know, my stamped lines, because that's basically where the shading is. If you see some of these that are a little bit behind, you could do the whole petal. So that's all I do. I just touch that around like that. Start with the light. I'm going to start with the light Daffodil for the center on this one. There. And then I'm going to take the medium and do the very center of the middle of the flower. And I'm not really blending these, I'm just coloring them in. And then to finish it off, you're going to layer it on a piece of rich razzleberry. And then I chose to actually use the Blackberry Bliss paper for this layer. And this is cut with the Project Life framelits. And this is the new rich razzleberry ribbon, the satin ribbon. The happy birthday greeting is also from the Bloom with Hope set. And it is stamped on a Daffodil Delight, and then the base card is Daffodil Delight. So I hope you've enjoyed this card and have lots of fun playing with your Blendabilities markers. Thanks for stopping by at the Roost, and I hope to see you again.